This is 95X Live.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is dXn live for 95X, and I've got Mike and Ben from the UK two-piece powerhouse band Royal Blood. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to do this today.
Of course. It's a pleasure to be on board.
Absolutely. Now, you've got a brand new album that's coming April 30th called Typhoons, and the single, well, the second single, the title track, dropped last week. I've got to say, absolutely brilliant. I love this new single, and I can't get it out of my head.
That's great to hear. Great. We love it too.
What can you tell us about the new record? I mean, for me, one of my favorite things about Royal Blood has been watching you guys grow and evolve since the early days of the self-titled album to now this new album, Typhoons. To really put it in perspective, like, you guys started as kind of like a basis for what you're doing now, and have really evolved and grown into this massive sort of all-encompassing musical entity. Was there anything that sparked that, or do you think it was just more of like a natural evolution of getting used to one another and playing together more?
I think a bit of nature and a bit of nurture. I think there's been a natural progression just based on the fact that, you know, I guess we've been in this band since the first album, I guess 7 or 8 years, and as you evolve as a person and as your taste matures and as your experience of being a musician, it's totally it would seem abnormal to not evolve from our view. And then I think on top of that, I guess making this record is the longest stint we've had creatively, where because of all sorts of things that we've had, and I think it meant that the record was a real journey of discovery, and being a two-piece and coming from a very primal and simple idea, it meant we had a long way. We left ourselves quite a long way to go, which was exciting, and the time was really spent on kind of trying to crack the code of how to do something that we could feel excited about in the same way you'd be excited about starting a new band, if that makes sense. I think doing the same thing over and over again and doing the same trick and appeasing to your audience only leads to disappointment from both sides. And so I think it was important to find somewhere new that felt comfortable and felt authentic. So I think that journey for us has been a lot of trial and error, but where we're at now it just feels great. It's difficult to get perspective on what you've made until time has passed, but already I can see we've actually lived with this record for some time now, and yeah, I can see there's quite a nice through line between all 3 records now, where you can see the evolution of the music. So yeah, it's been great.
Well, for me, I can't wait for Typhoons to drop, because if the first 2 singles are any indication of what we're in store for, I am absolutely clamoring to hear this entire piece of art, which is available on your website now for pre-sale. You've got a whole host of options, which I think is fantastic. Picture discs, colored vinyl, standard vinyl, the CDs, the extra stuff. The question I have, being an older guy who lived through its first incarnation, is the cassette thing like really like you like cassettes, or is it more of people are making cassettes, so we're going to make a cassette? Because personally, as an old audiophile, like, I really, really loved the digital age coming around with CDs, and then now obviously streaming.
Well, I guess the same reason you have an affiliation with CDs is the same reason that some of our fans have such a nostalgia and affiliation with cassettes. And the same, I have the same answer for the vinyl thing as well. Although vinyl probably has transcended amongst all the generations, being that it's the kind of elite format for audio. Wow, I think that was a fucking amazing answer. I don't really know how to continue. I feel like I'm in a debate.
No, I mean, I understand it. I have friends
No,
who
sorry, yeah.
put cassettes out and stuff, and I totally get it because there is an audience for it.
I
But
think,
being my age, I just remember what a pain in the ass they were when they would unspool and
yeah.
you'd have to get the pen and like put it in the
Mm.
hole and rewind it and everything
But there's
else.
a romance to that as well, you know.
True enough. True
You
enough.
know, cassettes remind me of family holidays. You know, I don't have I have my playlist ready. You'd be in the car, it'd be a 4 hour journey, which, you know, when you're a child feels like a lot longer. So
And
I
it
like
turned
that. I like the flipping, and yeah. And actually, I remember actually recording acoustic guitar on a cassette, and you have to put a bit of salad. Yeah, there's, you know, people appreciate it is what I'm getting at. So that's why we have a Royal Blood cassette.
absolutely. And I meant no offense to that whatsoever. I was just trying to get some
No,
perspective
no,
from
no, 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 no offended. No, no offended at all.
very cool. Well, one of my other favorite things in recent memory that you guys did was The Ground Below, a collaboration with Run the Jewels, which until you guys dropped Typhoons last week was the thing on repeat for me for a couple of weeks. How did that collaboration come about, and how was the experience? Because they're one of my favorite artists of all time.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, we've known those guys through kind of touring and festivals, and um, it turns out we were mutual fans. So there's always been that connection, and I guess we've been looking for an excuse to do something together and for our worlds to collide somehow. Um, and yeah, LP wanted us to be on this track in particular, and we were actually in the middle of recording our record, but it served as a really nice palate cleanser for us, and it was just really fun to make and really fun to be a part of.
It brought back a lot of memories for me of like the mid to late 90s and things like the Judgment Night soundtrack, where like true hip hop and true rock artists truly collaborated and came up with what ended up becoming a bastardized version of it in the early 2000s with Limp Bizkit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I've been a fan of British bands since I was a very, very little kid. And one of the things that I've noticed, especially in the modern day, is that there is this definitive forward thinking mindset from the rock bands in the UK and throughout Europe, as opposed to a lot of the rock bands in the States that just kind of stick to the same tropes of this 4-piece band and this is where the guitar solo goes. But then on the other side of it, there's bands like Royal Blood and Nothing But Thieves and the Hunna that, in my opinion, are pushing the boundaries and stepping into 2021 while still being a rock band. What's your take on that? Because for me, like, my playlists are dominated with the modern UK rock artists right now, like the ones in, you know, the 1975 and all of those bands as well. And I just don't find myself gravitating towards the American version of rock anymore. Is there something in the water in the UK?
I don't know. I think there's great examples of both on both sides of the pond. There's American rock bands that we love too, and but I think what you were saying about the kind of there being sort of two clubs, the preservationists and the other, and the bands that are more interested in the innovation. I definitely think we side on the innovation because there's so much heritage with rock music and history, which is amazing. But I feel if you look at history and you look at the greatest bands and the favorites, they were all trying something new. And the reason that they had success is because they had a unique spin on something that had been done before them. So I think the irony of being a preservationist with rock music is that you're not actually, there's something not very rock and roll about that whatsoever. So yeah, it's important to put our own spin on what we love and do, yeah, find a way that we can fit into it in a unique way, you know. And I think, yeah, that's much more exciting. There's nothing rock and roll with doing what's been done before.
Exactly.
In ethos, anyway.
No, and you guys are continually pushing the envelope and advancing the genre to new heights. I mean, the fact that, and this is a weird thing for me because like it's an odd thing for a dude that looks like me in a Bad Brain shirt to say this, but like hand claps are one of my favorite subtle little things in songs. And the fact that they were in there in Typhoons, I totally geeked out the minute it popped up. Where like I was just like, oh my god, and it's just like this. It's this hook for me where you guys stay true to the elements that make rock music, but you're coloring way outside the lines to create a broader picture than what's ever been there before. And I love that about you guys. The dynamic of the band, how bombastic the band is, the swagger that's there with every single song. You guys are really taking a unique approach to rock music, and I adore it. I think that more bands should be experimental in the way you guys are, and listen, because man, there's so much right about what you guys are doing, and I cannot wait for this new record, Typhoons.
Wow, thank you very much.
Excellent. Well, once again, Mike and Ben from Royal Blood, the new album Typhoons drops on April 30th. The single that's on 95X right now is called Trouble's Coming, but I'll tell you that title track, go and look for it on YouTube, the internet, where all your streaming stuff is, it's there. And trust me, you're going to fall in love with it at first listen. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time today. You guys definitely gave me an opportunity to check something off my interview bucket list today by taking part in this, and it's greatly appreciated. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Awesome. Take care, guys. Good luck.
Take care, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Check out more in the on-demand section at 95x.com.